If you have watched the Misanthrope layout video, there's a good chance that you did not raise an eyebrow listening to the song. But as a World of Warcraft player, I quickly recognized the voice. After a very high IQ conversation with Britain KT8, I decided I wanted to make a video about it since he showed interest. You may ask, who the fuck cares? I actually ask myself that question making this video, but I love World of Warcraft and would love to share some cool lore behind the game with the Geometry Dash community. So before I get into it, I would like to say that this is very complicated, in-depth lore of World of Warcraft, but I will try to make the video as simple as possible for everyone to understand. This is a very nerdy video, be prepared. So before talking about these lyrics, I think it would be a better idea to talk about the creature behind the voice and his place in the game. In World of Warcraft there are expansions that are released with approximately 2 years apart from each other. These expansions are pretty much just an update to the previous expansions of the game. New content, new level cap and new lore. But today we'll focus on the 2 expansions, Legion and Battle for Azeroth. We'll get back to that later. In World of Warcraft there are different playable classes. They are all unique in their own different ways and offer many possibilities. You could, for example, play a hunter, a mage or a warrior. But today we'll focus on the Druid class. The Druid is a shape-shifting hybrid class. They are able to transform themselves into different animals and more. They have a very special connection to the forest and the nature. In the Druid mythology, there is a land known as the Emerald Dream. A spirit world existing outside the boundaries of the physical world. Almost every Druid wished to go to the Emerald Dream because it is like a paradise for the Druids. However, at one point in time a corruption started to spread in the infinite lands of the Emerald Dream. It is known as the Emerald Nightmare. When the nightmare spreads, it consumes the life force of all it touches. Only mad manifestations of evil walk around in the Emerald Nightmare. One of these manifestations has the name Illjin Earth. You might know his voice.
At the hour of her third death, she ushers in our coming. From the earth, he draws strength. Our earth, our strength.
Illjin Earth got 4 minutes of voice lines in this single encounter alone. You can look them all up on YouTube if you are interested. If you just came here to only find out the origin of the lyrics, then it is time for you to stop this video, because now we are putting on the nerd goggles. Now you may ask, is this creature really just a fucking tree? Well, yes and no. Illjin Earth is not like a physical being, but more like a massive corruption messing with your mind. Illjin Earth is a very interesting and popular character in the game because when he was first introduced, nobody really had an idea about what the fuck this guy was talking about. Only some of his voice lines made sense. He was released alongside the release of the Emerald Nightmare instance in September 2016 in the Legion expansion. Now the thing that makes Illjin Earth so cool is that his quotes only made sense 2 years later with the release of the expansion, Battle for Azeroth. Let's go over some of his quotes used in the Misanthrope song, aka Solace of Oblivion. Keep in mind these are my own opinions. You can still today read over 100 pages of people discussing these voice lines on Reddit or the forums.
From the earth, he draws strength. Our earth, our strength.
Who the fuck is he? You see, Illjin Earth is actually not in the top of the evil guys, but he's a servant to one of the old gods named Sothe. Sothe was a mystery in the game for many years and was the last of the 4 old gods to be encountered by players. We found out in Battle for Azeroth 2019 that Sothe was locked up inside a prison known as the Circle of Stars or the Last Prison. He was unfortunately freed. Sothe is the co-creator of the Emerald Nightmare and is the main antagonist in the expansion Battle for Azeroth. He is an evil god who twists the minds of his enemies and makes them go mad. His ideal goal is to build his empire called the Black Empire and restore his alternative reality city known as Ny'alotha, which is inhabited by the old gods and their minions. Now, in my opinion, this quote refers to Sothe corrupting more and more, resulting in him gaining more power and strength.
Its surface blazes bright, masking shadows below.
I think this refers to the ocean. The ocean is bright and peaceful, but below lies a prison with a thing locked up that should not have been set free.
5 keys to open our way. 5 torches to light our path.
Now, this quote is probably the hardest one to analyze. There are endless debate regarding this one single voice line. There are so many special 5s in the game which makes this hard to determine. But here are my thoughts. The 5 keys refer to something called the Pillars of Creation. The Pillars of Creation are relics created by the Titans, or simplified as the good gods. They were given to some special people who shaped the world Azeroth when it was young. Now I think personally that the 5 torches are the world trees in World of Warcraft. The world trees are ancient, massive trees connected to the Emerald Dream. There are 2 trees in Kalimdor, one in Northrend, one on the Broken Isles, and the last one being in the Emerald Nightmare. Now all of these trees are either destroyed or damaged except Nordrassil. Nordrassil has been standing there undamaged throughout the entire history of World of Warcraft. But in the newest expansion, Battle for Azeroth, Nordrassil was burned down during a war.
There is no honor in this.
5 wounded trees. 5 torches. The war that resulted in the burning of Nordrassil would later lead to the release of Sothe. The manifestation Illjin Earth New Destiny. I made a timeline in Excel that hopefully gives you a better visualization.
Flesh is his gift. He is your true creator.
In this quote, Illjin Earth is not speaking about the old god Sothe, but he is speaking about another old god named Yogg-Saron. When the Titans created the first life on Azeroth, the races were made of stone and they were immortal. However, Yogg-Saron cast a curse upon the stone race. It was the curse of flesh. It turned their stone skin into flesh and made their lives mortal. These new types of races would later become races such as humans and dwarves. The 4 quotes that are left used in the Misanthrope level are just voice lines Illjin Earth is saying during a fight with players. Wait. A fight? Does this mean Illjin Earth is alive or dead? Illjin Earth has actually been killed 2 times in the game. After being defeated in the Emerald Nightmare, he retreated to the city, Ny'alotha. This is Illjin Earth's final form in the game. After his defeat in Ny'alotha, we are 100% sure that he is dead for good.
I'm coming in here. Beams, last set of beams, last set of beams.
I see the corruption within.
Just stay calm, please, please. For berserking in 10, make sure that the H's are ready to kite to the left. Chill. Run from bloods. Do not let yourself die with a fucking debuff.
Kill this fucking boss. Let's go. You up so loud?
Fuck yes, dude. I gotta race pit. No, I'm going in the pit. What's that? I'm getting in the pit, baby. The pit.
Anyways guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed the video and I kept it somewhat interesting. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to leave them in the comments or message me on Discord. I'll be more than happy to answer. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Bye.